sounds of distant battle pierced the forest. The blare of horns, the rumble of chariot wheels, the clash of swords beaten upon shields.
You've crossed the Rubicon into the lands of opportunity.
Welcome to the Red Brick Rubicon, an undergraduate PolyU podcast, hosted by the ELC and created by students for our local community. Hi, I'm Nicoria, an undergraduate PolyU Year 2 student in surveying, and my co-host is...
Hi, I'm Cheryl, and I'm from the accounting major, Year 4. So in this episode, we will dive into the pages and ink stains of PolyU authors and their creative writing experiences. Now, Nicoria, you and I are both authors with some experience in publishing our writing on the Inscribe.
Yes, I wrote The City of Lost Stars. That was the title of my very first feature article.
And I wrote The Last Triton. It is a romance/fantasy short story. But we thought it would be smart to invite someone to the studio with a lifetime of creative writing experience. So here with us in the studio is Dr. Andy Morrall, a lecturer at ELC, to discuss his latest book, The Druid and the Elephant, and his journey to publishing it. Welcome.
Hi, thank you for inviting me. I'm happy to come and talk about storytelling.
So, Andy, we stole your great opening line from your recent novel, but please forgive us and share a little bit of your story.
Well, the title is The Druid and the Elephant. A druid is an ancient British nature priest from about 2,000 years ago. And the book is aimed at teenagers and above, and kids usually like elephants, so I thought that would be a good thing to have in the title. And it also forms a contrast because druids are usually from Britain and Northern Europe, but elephants are for Africa. So the readers might be curious about why would a druid meet an elephant?
Yeah, so how about the plot? Is there any part is exciting or mysterious?
Oh, I hope it's all exciting and mysterious. The plot is that there's a young apprentice druid when the Romans invade Britain, and things don't go well for the British and they're beaten by the Romans. So the British have to decide on how to win against the Romans. So they tell the hero of the story, whose name is Kaz, to go to Rome and learn the Roman ways as a spy, and then come back to Britain and fight in a revolution against the Romans.
And may I ask, how did this idea come to you?
I was reading about the Roman Emperor Claudius, who, when he won his battles, brought an elephant to Britain and rode an elephant through the capital city. And I thought how awe-inspiring that must have been for the people living in England at the time. And I thought that would make a great scene for a book.
So Nicoria and I both published our writing on the Inscribe. So we both know that writing can be a pretty personal journey. So how did your own journey start?
Well, I've always liked reading and writing. My mother was a librarian and made sure that I read lots when I was a kid. And then when I was at school, I liked writing stories. And when I was at university, I would write stories. When I came to Hong Kong, I had a chance to write a story for Hong Kong school kids, which I called Crazy City, which was a science fiction novel about the environment. And then I joined the Hong Kong Writers Circle, and they were very supportive, and I published a couple of articles in their yearly anthology of short stories. And through them, I heard about a publisher who was looking for fantasy authors for a target of young readers, and I contacted them. And we came to a deal about a story that they'd like me to write.
So did you encounter any challenges during the your own journey, writing journey?
I was surprised about how long the process took. I was expecting that I would write the book, give it to the publisher, and it would be out within a few months. But actually the editing process and the revision process and getting everything ready took over a year. So that was something I didn't expect. So tell me about your writing journeys.
So for me, my writing journey starts from an assignment the assignment was required me to write a feature article. And the topic we can decide by ourselves, just a topic that we are passionate about. For me, it must be astronomy. It's because astronomy has always given me a specific meaning and special meaning beside it. So when I was young, my father used to take me to Saigon to stargaze, and I saw a lot of stars there, and even the Milky Way by naked eyes. And I was always wonder why the cosmic and the universe is such mysterious, and that's why I love astronomy very much. But recently, I went to Saigon again with my little cousin. I like to share my own experience with him, but unfortunately, the city was a lot of artificial lights and covering all the stars. I cannot see any stars in the sky anymore. So I feel very desperate, and I was trying to write a good article to express my desperate feeling that Hong Kong now is covered by thick clouds or even by very artificial lights and causing much light pollution. And I was very desperate and sad because I just want to share more astronomy enthusiasm to the people that are around me. So that's why I start my writing journey.
Yes, the light pollution is a shame. I'm into astronomy as well because it's a big part of science fiction. How about you, Cheryl?
Yeah, so when I was young, I really liked to read fantasy stories and novels. So when I grew up, I wanted to create my own magical world and my own fictional world so I can jump into to escape from reality. So when I got into college, I started looking for courses that would teach me how to write novels. So that's why I registered for the course Harry Potter and the Lord of the Rings, and that is the assignment for this course, The Last Triton. And it gave me a lot of fun because I got to immerse myself in my imagination, and I would certainly do it again.
Yeah, I believe that all of us have our own writing journey. So, Andy, you and many younger PolyU writers, including Cheryl and myself, are coming from different places. Do you think age, gender, or experience changes the way someone tells a story?
Yes, definitely. I think all of them. For age, one of the things I find difficult is to write like a teenager because I'm so much older than the teenagers. When I write a teenage character, I have to think back and remember how different I was when I was a teenager. I think gender's important too. I think it's important for stories to have both male and female characters. And you need to put yourself inside the head of the female characters and think differently from you are as a male writer. And I think experience is also important as well, because experience gives you more ideas about how to solve the problems in the stories. What do you think?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. But I think ages is the most important one to change someone tells a story. It's because, like me and Cheryl, being a young writers, always gives us fresh and fearless voice. We always ask us to question, challenge, and reimagine the word without hesitation. For example, just what I just said, I always, when I write stories, I imagine the period of time that I go stargaze with my dad and my little cousins. And being a young writers, we are usually more eager to express our own emotion and sincere in the words. What about you, Cheryl?
Yeah, I also think young writers have their own challenges because they might not have enough experience in life. That makes it a bit difficult for them to convey authentic feelings on certain contents, for example, romantic scenes or life or death plots. So they might put in more cliches to make them more believable. But if you have more experience in life, it might make this story more true and real.
Yeah, I also want to have more experience to write my journey more authentic.
Yeah, so young writers should seize as much opportunities as they can to get more authentic experiences. Yeah. So, Andy, there are so many aspiring writers out there. If someone is just starting out, what is the one thing you think they should focus on?
That's a great question. The thing I think they should focus on is the people. It's too easy to think, oh, I'll just write a book, I'll give it to a publisher, they'll publish it, I'll make lots of money. But that's not how it works. you need the people. You need to talk to the publisher, see what they want, come up with an idea, send them a plan, get them to agree with it, sign a contract together. And then once your book is written, you need to give it to alpha readers to give you some feedback, give it to beta readers to give you more detailed feedback, give it to the editors who'll give you even more feedback. Then you need to market your book. And then even when your book is released, you need to talk to the people who are reading it, the reviewers, the commentators, try to get into social media. The people are the most important thing.
Mhm.
What do you think?
Yeah, I used to struggle with sharing with other people about my thoughts on writing, but I've come to realize that because in courses there are many discussions, and it's good to share our thoughts. So, Andy, when do you think aspiring writers should publish, and how should they publish?
I think as soon as possible, seize the day, take any opportunity that comes along. I think one good thing about Hong Kong is having the Hong Kong Writers Circle, because that can give you a group of people who you can read your writing to, get feedback from. They do a short story collection every month, so they're always looking for people to write short stories for them. They do the anthology every year, so there are lots of opportunities to do writing. So get in there, write things, read them to people, get their feedback, and you'll start your publishing journey.
Commercial publishing sounds very difficult for me. This is like climbing on a mountain.
Yes, I know it can seem forbidding. The Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu said the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. You've already taken your first step by publishing in Inscribe, so you're already on your journey, so keep going.
I'm looking forward to my writing journey.
And we encourage any students who are on the way to their writing journey you can explore our various ELC courses.
Yes, the ELC's got 3 creative writing courses, one in fantasy, one in science fiction, and one in storytelling.
Yeah, so if you're interested in writing, don't hesitate. Come and join the ELC courses. And Inscribe and Hong Kong Writers Circle. So I think that closed the book on this episode. Thank you
Thank you,
again
Dr.
to
Andy.
Dr. Andy for joining us today.
Thank you for inviting me. I look forward to reading your writing in future.
And remember, young writers, don't stop believing.